So you're thinking about buying a home in Brunswick, Ohio, and you want to make the right decision. And you also might want to know, kind of what's good, what's bad in Brunswick, maybe even a short list of pros and cons. Well, you've come to the right place to know what's really going on in Brunswick, Ohio. Oh, and stick around to the end, because I'm going to share with you a really cool place that offers a ton of entertainment that you're going to want to visit. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Northeast Ohio, subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about all there is to know with the current market conditions and living in Northeast Ohio. Hi, my name is Joe, and I've lived in Northeast Ohio for over 29 years now. And my team and I, we get calls and texts and emails every single day from people just like you who want to make their move to or just in Northeast Ohio, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and better yet, schedule a Zoom call, which is our favorite. We'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to or in Northeast Ohio, just depending on your situation. So let's kick things off with one of the first pros, which is going to be the schools. Because let's be honest, if you've got kids or you're planning in the future for children, then schools are going to be a big deal when choosing where to live. I know it was for me. Brunswick is home to the Brunswick City School District, which serves about 6,200 plus students across multiple schools. And the overall rating, according to niche.com, for the district performance is pretty well academically. First up is Brunswick High School, which serves grades 9 through 12 and nationally ranks about 3,700, which might not sound groundbreaking, but that's out of around 30,000 high schools nationally. But it's got a strong graduation rate of 96%, and it offers advanced placement courses, which means that students are going to get a jump start on college credits. And for some, that's a huge win. For younger kids, there's going to be several elementary schools, and among these, Crestview and Hickory Ridge tend to kind of stand out, getting great ratings for their academic performance and their commitment to student development. And you can find all of that information online at greatschools.com. 71% of the Brunswick students are proficient in reading, and 62% are in math, which is pretty solid. And the district is really prioritizing education, and it offers plenty of extracurricular activities, whether your kids are in sports, music, or clubs. Let's talk about one of the biggest pros of living in Brunswick, Ohio, and that's affordability. If you're looking for a place where your money stretches a little bit further, then this is going to be maybe the perfect spot for you. First off, the cost of living. Here, it's about 4% lower than the national average. That might not sound like a huge difference, but when you factor in housing, groceries, utilities, and even some healthcare costs, those all really add up. Speaking of housing, whether you're looking to buy or rent, prices in Brunswick are more reasonable compared to bigger cities, and the median home value, it sits around $210,000, which is a steal compared to many other parts of the country. Now, utilities, they're slightly higher here, about 3% above the national average, but on the flip side, transportation costs are actually lower. Gas prices and public transit costs tend to be about 3% less than what you would pay elsewhere. So it kind of balances itself out. Healthcare is another big win. It's nearly 5% cheaper than the national average, which means, doctor visits, prescriptions, medical costs, they're kind of right in line with what you'd expect nationwide. And we're all feeling that pinch right now. But here's the kicker. The median household income in Brunswick is over $74,000, which is higher than the national average. And that means not only is it more affordable to live here, but people are actually earning more as well, putting money more in their pocket, and being able to help save on a lot of those other costs. Another pro is the safety of living in Brunswick, Ohio, which is an important topic. If safety is top priority for you and your family, you're gonna be pretty pleased at what Brunswick has to offer. According to recent data by areavibes.com, Brunswick total crime rate is 73% lower than the national average. Specifically, violent crimes here are 71% below the national average, with 108 incidents per 100,000 residents. And property crimes, they're also significantly lower at 517 incidents per 100,000 residents, which is 73.6% lower than the national average. This level of safety isn't by accident, and it's a proactive and dedicated police force working in tandem with the engaged community. I've seen this firsthand because I lived in Brunswick for 4 years, and the police do patrol and keep an eye on the community. And together, they ensure that Brunswick remains a secure place to live, work, and raise a family. If you're someone who loves the great outdoors, then let me introduce you to another pro of living in Brunswick. This city is packed with beautiful parks and green spaces that offer a little something for everyone. Let's start with Brunswick Lake Park. Spanning over 79 acres, this park is a local favorite. It features a serene 13-acre lake surrounded by a 1-mile walking trail completed with 2 boardwalks. I mean, it's perfect for either a morning jog, a leisurely stroll, and the Nature Center, it's a must visit. That's operated by the Medina County Park District. The Susan Hambley Nature Center, it offers interactive exhibits and educational programs for all ages. A great spot to learn about the local wildlife and the local ecosystems. Another gem is the Plum Creek Park. This has been a park that was transformed from a former landfill into a scenic retreat. And it offers enclosed and open air picnic shelters. It's got playgrounds. There's 2 fishing ponds that are stocked regularly. So if you have time, bring your fishing poles. It's an ideal spot for family gatherings or just maybe a peaceful day out. And for those of you who enjoy hiking or biking, the Plum Creek Greenway Trail is definitely a must. This is a multi-purpose trail. Currently stretches 1.5 miles, connecting the Plum Creek Park to the Mooney Park. And let's not forget our 4-legged friends. Brunswick Dog Park offers a 3/4 of an acre off-leash area where dogs can run and play freely. And it's a fantastic place for pets to socialize, burn off some of that crazy energy that they have. The 5th pro of living in Brunswick, Ohio, some may say the biggest advantage of living in Brunswick is its super convenient location. So if you work in Cleveland, or maybe just want to spend a lot of time in the big city of Cleveland, Brunswick kind of puts you in that perfect sweet spot. Plus, Strongsville's right next door, and that gives you even more options for shopping and dining. So let's break it down real quick. Brunswick is just about 27 miles southwest of Cleveland. So on a good day, you're talking about maybe 30 to 35 minutes via I-71 North. So that's not too bad, right? Now, but if you don't want to go all the way down to, or I should say all the way up to Cleveland, you got Strongsville. And that's just about 10 minutes north of Brunswick. And that's home of the South Park Mall. And that's one of the biggest shopping centers in Northeast Ohio. You get a quiet, family-oriented community, easy access to Cleveland for your work and entertainment. And Strongsville is just minutes away for some additional shopping, dining, and entertainment options. Here's one con that affects all of us: traffic. Now, Brunswick has a lot going for it, but like any growing city, they've got some congestion issues, especially in certain spots. So let's break this down. There's a stretch between I-71 near Pearl Road and State Route 303. This area gets backed up, especially during rush hour traffic. And as far as safety goes, did you know that I-71 is actually the most hazardous road in Medina County? And US 42 actually comes in at number 3. Not exactly the rankings that you want, right? So what's being done about all of this? Well, local officials are considering adding a new Boston Road interchange to I-71, and I'm sure that's pissing off some of the residents over there. The idea is to create another access point so that traffic can, kind of be spread out instead of clogging up in the same area. So it's still in the planning stages, and if it's approved, it could make a big difference. Look, Brunswick is a great place to live, and even though traffic can be a pain sometimes, the city is working on it. Now let's talk about con number 2, limited shopping and entertainment in Brunswick, Ohio. As far as an exciting nightlife or massive shopping spree, you're gonna find yourself heading out of town for all that. Now, don't get me wrong, they've got some solid local spots, but when it comes to variety, the options are a bit limited. Now, if we're talking about entertainment, one of the biggest attractions they have is Scene 75. Now, this place is pretty cool. I've been there, took my kids there. It's a blast. It's got go-karts, laser tags, arcade games, miniature bowling. So it's a really fun night out for the family and friends. But outside of that, your choices are pretty slim. No large concert venue like, in a big city, or really any kind of nightlife that compares to places like Cleveland. So if you're craving big band live music, comedy shows, or a nice cocktail bar, you're definitely going to have to drive. And if you're looking for a true nightlife experience, Brunswick isn't the place for it. You'll have better luck heading north up to Cleveland and checking out some of those places. And as far as shopping, Brunswick has your basics. They've got your Home Depot, your Giant Eagle, your Aldi's, and there's a few others. So if you need everyday essentials, you're definitely covered in Brunswick. But if you're looking for high-end fashion, specialty boutiques, or even just a bigger selection of stores, then you're gonna have to head north to Strongsville, which is the closer one. And they've got the South Park Mall, or you can head south to Medina. They've got Target, Kohl's, Walmart, and the new Meijer stores going up. So if you want true variety for shopping or entertainment, you're gonna have to drive out of town. Another con is limited dining options. Brunswick has some great local restaurants. Places like Panini's Bar and Grill for a solid sandwich, Muchos Buenos and Cozumel for some pretty decent Mexican food. They've got Mission Barbecue, a couple of great pizza joints like Giannino's Pizza, my pizza of choice, Fat Bob's Pizza, American Pizza Company that has their Detroit-style pizza, which I like, Panera Bread for some breakfast, and that's just to name a few good ones. But if you're craving something outside of the usual chains, the choices are going to be pretty limited. You won't find a ton of authentic international cuisine or, unique foodie experiences. So if you want true variety of dining, the good news, Brunswick is close to bigger cities, tons of options there. The bad news is that if you hate commuting, then it's something that you might want to consider. Another con of living in Brunswick is the limited public transportation. It's something that a lot of people don't really think about until they need it, right? Now, if you're living in a big city, buses, trains, ride shares, they're probably everywhere. But in Brunswick, let's just say it's a little bit more complicated than that. Now, you're thinking Brunswick for that suburban feel, it's quiet, safe, super close to larger cities, but if you're someone who relies on public transit, that's where things are going to get a little tricky for you. So unlike bigger cities with buses and trains that they've got running all day long, Brunswick options are pretty limited. So what's available? Well, the main option here is the Medina County Public Transit, or MCPT for short. They run a service called the Brunswick MC Flex, which is basically a demand response system. So what does that mean? That means, there's no fixed bus routes. If you need a ride, you got to call and schedule it ahead of time. And it's kind of like Uber, but with way fewer drivers, and longer wait times. Need to grab groceries or get to work? You better plan ahead, because MCPT runs Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5:20. So it's not exactly ideal. So you got a set of challenges ahead of you. You got no fixed bus routes. Must schedule your rides in advance. You have limited operating hours, and you've got no direct transit to Cleveland. So here's the bottom line. If you live in Brunswick, you really need a car. Public transit exists, but it's not the most convenient. Brunswick has a lot of great things going for it. But if you're someone who is going to have to depend on that public transportation, it's something that you really seriously need to consider before moving out here. And the fifth con of living in Brunswick is the lack of some sidewalks in many of the older neighborhoods in Brunswick. Those older neighborhoods were built way before sidewalks were even required. So you just have to pay attention to the neighborhoods that you're searching in for a home. And I'll highlight that, so come back and check out my map video of Brunswick. Brunswick offers numerous amenities, and the inconsistent sidewalk infrastructure in certain areas may present some challenges, for you homeowners out there who really want sidewalks in their neighborhood. Thanks for sticking around. As promised, I want to share a really cool place that offers a ton of entertainment. Brunswick is home of the renowned Maple Farms. It's a must-see spot for locals and visitors. There's been a lot of changes over the years, but they've been really good changes, and they have a whole lineup of seasonal activities for all ages. They've added 3 venues for private parties and corporate events. They have a bakery. They got fresh picked apples in October. One of my favorites is the summer concerts, because I love live music, and it's the perfect place for a family outing or even a romantic date. Well, that pretty much wraps up the pros and the cons for living in Brunswick, Ohio. We hope you found this video very valuable. And by the way, let us know in the comments below if you live in Brunswick or if you used to live in Brunswick. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and until next time, we hope to show you around town.